What if in just 120 days, your ideal clients saw you as the go-to expert, not just another name in their YouTube algorithm? This isn't about posting more or chasing likes. This is about becoming unmissable, the first person your niche thinks of, trusts, and chooses when it counts. Whether you're a financial advisor, consultant, or service provider, this training gives you the exact formula that I have used with hundreds of RIAs to go from unknown to unforgettable, without hype, without gimmicks, or without burnout. The celebrity advisor formula isn't a theory. It's a proven system to help you own your space, your niche with clarity, confidence, and credibility. Now, when I say unmissable, I don't just mean showing up in LinkedIn or in their inbox. I mean becoming the person your niche notices, trusts the fastest, and remembers when it actually matters, when they're ready to take action. This formula is built for financial professionals, consultants, and service providers who want to stand out without shouting. And most importantly, it is not about hype. It is about building real authority through a repeatable system. So let's dig in on how you can do that. To become unmissable, you need more than effort. You need a system. And that's where niche marketing comes in. This isn't about chasing everyone. It's about building a repeatable process that helps you stand out with the right people. There are 4 key parts to this. Number 1, understanding relationships. We'll start with how people connect and why your capacity to build trust is naturally limited. Number 2, aligning who you are with who you serve. Your niche should match your strengths, your passions, and who you are as a person. Number 3, creating a compelling offer, something your audience truly wants and sees as valuable. And number 4, marketing strategy. You're going to leave here with a plan to consistently show up using a simple framework like the Human Content Framework and Pillar Growth Plan. All right, so before we begin, who the heck am I? My name is Gardner. I'm the founder of Gardner Marketing. Most of you probably know me through my longtime partnership with Model FA, or as one of the co-founders of The Exchange alongside David DeSell and Dan Allison. I've spent the last 18 years in digital marketing, focused on professional services, with nearly a decade focused specifically on working directly with financial advisors, helping them grow their firms to increase visibility and authority within their client base. This course is the result of everything I've learned working behind the scenes with the top financial advisors, the top firms, and the top thought leaders in our space. And it's designed to give you a clear and repeatable path to becoming the go-to expert within your niche. So let's jump in. Have you ever wondered why some client relationships just click, while others never get off the ground? Well, today we're going to explore how your brain is wired for connection and how that wiring unlocks a smarter way to market your business. And at this point, you're probably thinking, do I really need to narrow my audience? Doesn't that mean I'm just turning people away? And that's a fair concern. But here's the truth. Your brain isn't built to deeply connect with everyone. There's a biological limit to how many people you can truly build trust with. And that limit matters when we're talking marketing. This next section, the neuroscience of niche marketing, is going to show you why. We'll break down how human connection works, how many relationships your brain can realistically manage, and how this insight gives you a huge advantage when you focus your efforts. So instead of stretching yourself thin, you'll learn how to go deeper with the right people and build a brand that's just not seen, but remembered. So let's finally get into it. Let's zoom out for a second. Why do humans and primates in general have such large brains? That's the big question this slide asks. And here's the answer. We evolved big brains to handle social life. Living in groups isn't easy. You have to manage relationships, keep tracks of who likes who did what, and who you can trust. And that takes brain power, especially in the neocortex, the part of the brain responsible for thinking and relationships. The bar chart here shows brain size as a percentage of body weight across different species. As you can see, humans are way ahead. Not even elephants come close. Why? Because our social lives are complex. The bigger the group, the more we need to remember, track, and navigate. This idea is the foundation of what comes next. Researchers like Robin Dunbar have found that our neocortex size puts a natural cap on the number of close, stable relationships that we can manage. In short, our social capacity isn't unlimited. It's built into our biology. This insight is key for understanding why focused, intentional relationships matter so much in business and in life, and why trying to connect with everyone just doesn't work. So here's where things get interesting. Each dot on this slide is a person. Each line, that's a connection, a relationship to manage. With 3 people, there are just 3 connections. Add a fourth, now you've got 6. By the time you go to 14 people, you're juggling 91 relationships. So it's not just about how many people are in a group, it's about how quickly the number of relationships grow. And that's what I mean by social complexity. And it's a big reason why our brains evolved the way they did to handle all of the social math. It also explains why we can't maintain relationships with thousands or heck, even hundreds of people. There's just too much going on. This visual really drives it home. The more people you add, the more mentally demanding it gets. Now, let's meet the guy behind all of this, Robin Dunbar. He's an evolutionary psychologist who asked a big question. Why do primates, including humans, have such large brains? His answer? Because managing social relationships is hard. We didn't evolve big brains to solve math problems or even invent fire. We evolved them to keep track of each other. Who's in our group? Who do we trust? Who do we owe? And who do we need to avoid? And this is the big thing we've been building towards over the last few slides. The bigger the brain, the more relationships you can manage. But even that has a cap. This idea that our social life is biologically limited is the foundation for everything that follows. It's not just a fun fact. It explains how we connect, who we prioritize, and why trying to connect with everyone just isn't realistic. Typically, when we talk about marketing, we usually think strategy, platforms, funnels, content, but there's a deeper layer, biology. Your brain is actually wired to build deep relationships with only a limited number of people. That's why niche marketing works. It lines up with how we're naturally built to connect, with focus on depth and trust, not just mass attention. So the more targeted you are, the more human and effective your marketing becomes. Dunbar found a brain to people ratio across primates. The bigger the brain, the bigger the social group. For humans, that cap is around 150 people, the so-called Dunbar number. Think about that. You could follow 10,000 people online, but you can't actually care about more than 150 of them. And as advisors, why does that matter to us? Well, because relationships drive referrals, loyalty, and trust. And your brain won't let you fake a deep connection with more people than it can handle. So let's put these numbers into context. Neolithic villages, they were 150 to 200 people. Modern military companies, about 180 soldiers. Your own holiday card list, you probably have about 150 to 150 people. Even Amish peerages cap out at around 115-ish people. Why? Because beyond that number, community breaks down. And the key idea here, We don't connect with everyone in the same way, and we're not supposed to. Relationships have layers, and each layer serves a different purpose. And what I want you to take away from this is you don't need more relationships. You need more of the right ones, and you need to know which tier they belong in. So, what do I mean by that? Well, your network isn't just a big blob. It's more like a series of rings. You've got about 5 people that are your ride to die inner circle, your homies. And then you've got about 15 people that are in your core friendship group, your core friends and your ancillary friends. And then you've got about 50 people that you'd invite to a birthday bash or a kid's birthday party. And then overall, there are about 150 folks you generally keep up. But, here's the rub. You're in your client's inner circle, but they might be number 200 on your list. And that's where most advisors drop the ball. They think of their clients as accounts, not relationships. But your client, they see you as their go-to guide, or at least you hope that they see you as their go-to guide. So as you're developing new relationships, understand you're somewhere within one of these bands trying to get to that inner group the best that you can. And your competition is doing that same thing. So you're fighting for these people's attention along with the competition. And the amount of effort that you put into these relationships directly correlates to developing whether or not you're in that prospect's one. Now, whether you like it or not, time is the currency of trust. The deeper the relationship, the more time it demands, and the fewer people you can build it with. You cannot shortcut connection, whether it's a friend, client, or a partner. Trust requires time. This isn't just a gut feeling. It's backed by the neuroscience. Let's talk numbers. Here's how bonding time plays out. Casual friends. It's about 50 hours per person. You can hold space for about 150 of these. Good friends. Good friends require about 100 hours. This shrinks that circle to about 50 people. And your best friends. This requires about 200 hours each. And you've got the bandwidth for about 15 of these people. Obviously, depending on how many kids or life obligations that you have. And the intimates, they require 200 plus hours. And only 5 people are going to make this cut. So you can see time is the great filter to building great relationships. If you want deeper loyalty or advocacy, you need deeper investment of time. This applies directly to your business. Are you spending 200 hours trying to win over strangers or investing that time into the right 15 relationships? In your client relationships, this shifts your strategy. High value clients, treat them like your best friend. Invest real time with these people. And your new leads, you need to keep them warm with smart touch points until you've earned enough attention from them. This is why scalable relationships are a myth. You can scale visibility, you can scale content, but you cannot scale intimacy. So the key takeaway, if you want to grow your business through trust, don't just manage time, prioritize it. Depth beats breadth every time. So what is a meaningful relationship? A meaningful relationship is the combination of trust and obligation. It's not just knowing someone's name. A real relationship means that you're willing to share resources with them. You're willing to defend them if needed. Heck, you include them in your long-term plans. These aren't just casual ties. They require time and emotional energy. And beyond 150, your ability to show up in this way, well, it just simply breaks down. And that's why niche marketing works. You're not trying to connect with everyone, just the right people at the right depth. Let's apply Dunbar's circles to advisor relationships. There's often a mismatch between how our clients see the relationship and how we as advisors manage it. From the client's view, you're in their inner circle. They trust you like they trust their friends or even their family. And they expect personalized attention. They expect empathy. They expect a commitment from you. And from the advisor's perspective, we might have 100+ clients that we're trying to support. And most fall into the outer circle. And that's not anything personal to them or a lack of care, but due to time and bandwidth limits. And this disconnect can lead to unmet expectations, broken trust, or even churn. So, what's the solution here? You need to niche down. You need to choose who you want in your inner circle. You need to serve fewer people, but serve them deeper. And you need to use systems and strategy to nurture real relationships, not just manage accounts. The key takeaway: you don't need to be everything to everyone, just everything to someone. And again, going back to the time element of things, you can't scale trust, but you can prioritize it. It takes 50 hours to make a casual friend, 200 hours to build real trust. I don't mean to just keep repeating the same thing here, but I want to just hammer home how important investing this time into relationships truly is. And by investing time, I don't just mean hours, but I mean building shared experiences with these people. And by shared experiences, that can be anything from helping in a moment of need or sending just a timely check-in or a birthday acknowledgement. It's really showing up to the people when it matters to them and what's going on in their life. Final insight: your marketing should mirror your brain. If your brain is wired for 150 people, market like it. Speak to fewer people more often, more personally. Build a niche that feels like a tribe where your clients feel known, not targeted. All right, so we're going to go into this much further in our other sections. But before we close out, let's talk about turning neuroscience into strategy. We've covered the science. Now it's time to apply it. As we talked about, you can't have 200 deep relationships, but you can design a business that makes 20 people feel like they're your only client. The key: intentionally build your inner circle. These 4 steps can help you work with your brain's limits, not against them. Number 1, client avatar. You need to get specific. Define exactly who you are built to serve. Go beyond age and income. Uncover their beliefs, their goals, their fears, and their decision triggers. If you know who they trust and how they think, you can show up where it matters most. Number 2, the decision journey. Map the moments that matter. Understand how your niche makes financial decisions. What do they think, feel, and what do they do at each stage? Be present during the key inflection points, not just after they reach out. And number 3, you need to have an offer package that aligns with what they actually care about. Don't just list out your services. Design an experience. Everything from your process to your pricing to your email tone and office vibe should feel like it was built for them. That's what makes your value undeniable. And number 4, marketing strategy. You need to build trust at scale. But as we talked about, this is difficult because trust takes time. You can streamline this by using content that mirrors how humans connect. These are things like stories, personal beliefs, shared wins, cleared lessons. Show up consistently in their world using the channels that they already trust and consume information in. This is where the human content framework actually shines. So, my final thoughts in this module: when you narrow your focus, you expand your impact. That's a word you're going to hear me say a lot: impact. This isn't about reaching everyone. It's about becoming essential to the right few. So that's everything in this module. Thank you for joining me. We're going to dive in next to building your client avatar and how you actually dive into a niche. But that is the foundation of what we're going to be talking about here. So let's jump into the next module.